Are you struggling to be disciplined even though you know it's something that you need in order to achieve the goals in your life? Well, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the framework that Steven Bartlett shared in his most recent book that breaks down discipline into 3 component parts.
Discipline equals the importance of the goal plus, let's just say, the importance of the goal to you. So the subjective importance of the goal. How much does that goal matter to you? Plus the psychological enjoyment you get in the pursuit of the goal, right? So as you pursue the goal, how psychologically enjoyable and reinforcing and is that for you? Minus the psychological cost of the pursuit of the goal.
So let me share with you an example that might be quite familiar for you. So when you wake up in the middle of the night, when you need to go to the loo, at the moment that you wake up, the perceived why to go for the pee is pretty low because you think that you can get back to sleep. You think in your head, if I ignore this urge to go to the toilet, I'll just go back to sleep and it'll go away. And so you don't get up and go for a week. Also, the cost is quite high because you have to get out of your comfortable bed and you have to walk to the toilet. That isn't really that much of a fun activity. And so for a while, you don't go. But then as you lay there and you can't get back to sleep and you realize that, oh, if I don't go for the loo now, I'm not going to be able to go back to sleep. I'm just going to lay here awake the whole night. When you make that realization, the subjective reasoning of going for a pee skyrockets and you end up going to the toilet. But now imagine that the bathroom is way further up. It's 5 floors up and you're like, okay, I have to climb 5 floors to get to the toilet. At this point, the subjective cost of going for a pee also skyrockets. And so it's probably going to take you a little bit longer to end up going to the toilet. But then, if on the way back down from the toilet, they installed a slide, which was taking you from floor number 5 to your bedroom, going back from the toilet would become quite fun. And so that enjoyment of the slide would make you more likely to get up and go to the toilet, even though it's really far away. And so at this point, hopefully you have an idea that discipline can be broken down into these 3 component parts. And if you can manipulate these 3 variables, you're going to be in a position where you're able to become more disciplined and actually take action towards your goals and do the things that you need to do in order to become the person that you want to be. So the first part of the discipline equation is, why do we want said goal? I've created a 3C framework that allows you to increase the subjective reasoning why you're doing something so much that it becomes inevitable for you to take action. So the first one is challenges. At the moment, I'm doing 75 hard and I've posted it on social media. And I have to do 2 workouts per day. I have to drink 4 liters, I have to read 10 pages, I have to eat really clean. For the last 22 days, I have been the most consistent I've ever been in my life with anything. But I'm only doing it because I have this challenge. If I wasn't doing the challenge, there would have been a day that I would have missed one of the workouts. But because of the challenge, it's making me go the extra mile, and my reasoning for why I'm doing these activities is way higher. And so if you ever want a goal and you're not making progress, you're not being disciplined, take on a challenge. This is why people run more when they do marathons. This is why people train more when they have a mountain to climb. When you have a challenge, when you have something exterior to work towards, it just makes you accountable to that goal. And because of that, you end up becoming more disciplined. Second, you have coaching. Coaching can be powerful because you end up becoming accountable to someone else. When you're accountable to someone else, because humans are social animals, you end up not wanting to disappoint them, and so you end up being more disciplined. So I work with people and help them lose weight at the moment, and we have a weekly check-in, and I'll check in with them throughout the week to make sure that everything's going okay. And because of these reminders, because of these weekly check-ins, my clients see results. Someone I work with, Matty, is a policy manager in London, and by the end he was eating quite low calories, and he even said that the only reason he was able to stay so disciplined and end up losing 15 kilos was literally because he was accountable to me on a weekly basis. And if you're not being disciplined at the moment, then it probably means that you need to either do challenges or a coaching to make you more disciplined. And then the third one is community. And what I mean by community is surrounding yourself with people that are going to push you and make you better. So I did a mastermind in Bali a few weeks ago with a bunch of absolute killers. They're all in really good shape. They're all trying to build businesses, super driven people. And just being in that environment, and even just being in Bali in general, has allowed me to push myself out of my comfort zone and be more disciplined, because now I feel like I want to operate at a higher standard than I currently am. And so Surrounding yourself in the right community with the right people is going to make you more disciplined, because you're now increasing the standard to which you compare yourself. Because you compare yourself to a higher standard, you end up operating at a higher standard. You end up being more disciplined just as a byproduct. The second part of the framework is making things subjectively fun. So I think there are 3 ways to do this. And the first idea that I have is people. Do things with other people. So an example of this is in Bali, we have a run club. It's 20, 30, 40, sometimes 80 people get together by the beach on a Tuesday and a Friday morning, and we all run together 5 kilometers. Now, I've done that exact same run that we do on my own, but it feels way more taxing and less enjoyable just because I'm on my own. Whereas being in such a big group makes it way more appealing. I'm way more motivated to go to the run. I get to socialize a little bit. I get to meet with like-minded people. And so a good way to make things more subjectively fun for yourself is doing things with other people. Number 2 is something called temptation bundling. And to explain this example, I need to share with you what a lot of the coffee shops do here. I don't know if they do it on purpose, but it really does work. So in Bali, whenever you order a coffee from a coffee shop, the gym does it. I went to a coffee shop today that does it. What they do is they give you a little cookie on the side of your coffee. And so say if you order a long black on its own isn't that fun. It's just a black coffee. I mean, I enjoy it, but I wouldn't say it's fun. But the little cookie on the side, well, I don't know, there's something about it that makes it a little bit fun. And because of that, I actually think I order more coffee because I look forward to having that little bit of cookie. The point here is that whenever you're trying to do something that's difficult, whenever you're trying to do something that's a little bit hard, whenever you start doing something that you don't really want to do, try to pair it with something that is fun so that you're going to be more disciplined to do it. So I did a photo shoot a year ago, and in this photo shoot, I had to train really hard for it. I was doing a lot of cardio because I was training hard, I was eating low calories, and I had to be disciplined, and getting to the gym by the end was a bit long, like I couldn't be asked. To give you a bit of context, I would go for a morning walk, then drive my car, then I would park my car 20 minutes away from the gym so I could walk to the gym. I would train in the gym, then walk 20 minutes back. Then I would come home and I would go for another walk, and then I would come home and eat. So like the whole day was just exercise, and I was in the gym for like a few hours. And what I would do is every single time I went to the gym, I would buy a energy drink for myself. And that little treat that I would look forward to just made the whole experience of going to the gym a little bit more fun. Number 3 is a very simple one, and it's just ask. Ask yourself, whenever you're doing an activity, how can I make this a little bit more fun? So today, for my workout in the morning, I did an outdoor workout because I'm doing 75 hard. I went to the gym and I went on the exercise bike for 45 minutes, which to be honest isn't that fun. Like I just sit on there, listen to music, but it's a bit boring. And I asked myself, how can I make this a bit more fun? So I went on my phone, I went onto YouTube, and luckily the YouTube feed presented me with the best thing I could have asked for, and it was a Mike Thurston vlog in Texas. And so for 22 minutes, I was sitting on the bike, I was pumping out the ride, and I watched Mike Thurston and the time just flew by because I was watching him and he was entertaining myself. And so sometimes whenever you're doing something boring or whenever you don't want to do something, just ask yourself, how can I make it 10% more fun? And when you do that, your brain will just think of a way to make it more fun, and you'll be more disciplined in pursuing that specific activity. Time for the final one, the cost. So how can we make things less subjectively costly? So the first one is friction. Reduce friction to do any of your goals. What I mean by this is anything that gets in the way, any little thing that you need to do. If you're going to the gym and you need to pack your bag before you go to the gym after work, leave it packed out before so that you don't have to pack it when you get home, because that friction is going to make you less likely to pursue the goal that you want to pursue. So an example of this for me is that in the morning, obviously right now I need to take progress photos. So I need to wake up, I take progress photo, and then I go to the gym to do my first workout. I have a tripod, and the friction of me setting up my camera on the tripod to take the progress photo was making me spend more time in bed than I actually needed to spend in bed, because it's kind of long, I have to put it on the thing and take a photo. What I've started doing now is that I charge my phone at night and I leave my phone plugged in on the tripod so that when I wake up I can jump outside of bed, I can take the progress photo, and then I'm ready to go. And that reduced friction has reduced the subjective cost of me waking up early and going to the gym. And because of that, I'm more disciplined around it. Number 2, focus. So what I mean by this is choose in advance what you're going to suck at. What I mean by this is that often we don't want to do things maybe like eat healthy, because we feel like if we eat healthy, we're not going to be able to go out and socialize and drink and party. But if you just accept that for a period of time in your life, maybe you're wanting to work towards weight loss. Look, I've obsessed over fat loss over the last few years. That's why I talk about it a lot, and I use it as an example. It's the way that I think. But like, it only takes a few months to make lots and lots of progress in a domain of life. And so if you can just accept that in all the other domains of life that you're not focusing on, they're going to suck a little bit, then that opportunity cost that is in your head of like, oh, I'm going to miss out on going to the club with my friends on a Friday night, becomes a lot easier for you to handle, because it doesn't feel like a cost when you do that. And then number 3, build systems. So at the moment, I'm in Canggu and I'm still trying to lose weight. I'm doing 75 hard, but I like walking, and walking around here is awful, right? It's quite difficult to get your steps in. People talk about it a lot. It's like, oh, it's quite hard to walk in Canggu because there's no pavements. So the subjective cost of walking and getting steps in is pretty high, because you have to walk on the road. And so what I've done now is built a system around getting my steps in so they don't have to think about it, so the subjective cost is lower. And so after I've done my first workout in the morning, I do 10 minutes of walking. I then do 20 minutes of walking before I train at the gym in the afternoon, and 20 minutes afterwards. And because of that, I end up getting 8,000 steps per day. But it just means that I don't have to think about it, because it's systematized. I just know that whenever I do these other activities, I do my steps, and because of that system, it doesn't feel like a massive burden in my life. So that is it, a step-by-step breakdown of how to become disciplined. If you like this video, then check out the video linked here, which YouTube says that you might like. Remember, become the person that you want to be.